Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by the Christian hard rock band Spoken with their newest 10th record, Reflection. So it's been 7 years since their album 9 has come out, and to be honest, I haven't really dabbled in much Spoken. Illusion and 9 are probably the two albums I remember the most, and I can say Illusion's great. 9 on the other hand, I just don't really remember that much. Not a lot of Spoken has stood out to me, but this new record, I think, brings the best of both worlds. You honestly get a heavier palette that Spoken have been building up. Spoken's been going for the more hard rock sound. There's uncleans, there's some heavy guitar work, but for the most part they want to keep the melodic sound to it as well, and Reflection does this but tenfold. It makes it just sound a lot better. I will be honest though, I think some of the mixing is a bit off on some of the tracks. You especially notice on the first few, it just feels like there's something off with the vocals. Like, not that the vocals sound bad, but the overall mixing and mastering on it just kind of feels a bit off compared to the instrumentation. But it's just something that I think as you go on you can ignore it, but it's just something that just stood out to me with tracks like Echo and Reflection. But those songs are still good in my opinion. The noticeable difference between this album and previous Spoken is that this is probably the heaviest album by far. There's just some very intense guitar work, some very clear-cut breakdowns with just some menacing uncleans on here. This album honestly reminds me of Red's Declaration, which was my favourite album of 2020. When Red just decided to go all out with a lot more of their angry, heavier side. But the problem is, with this compared to that is, I think the production on that Red album is a bit better, but it's just concrete. I'll just say I just prefer the Declaration one. And I'm not saying Declarations is perfect, but I just feel like everything mixed a bit better on there, whereas here it's got kind of some issues here and there, and more importantly this album has got a bit too many songs that needs some of the songs towards the end you can kind of get rid of, and I wouldn't really notice, to be fair. I think some of them should just stay like B-side tracks or deluxe edition tracks, because there's just no reason for some of these songs. Matter of fact, Sleeper, which was one of the singles, I feel should have just not been on the album. It's one of the weakest tracks, and while it does have Ryan Clark from Demon Hunter as a feature, they don't really do too much with that actually makes it worth an interesting listen. Sleeper's fine, but it's definitely by far my least favourite track on the album. Whereas the other feature with Brian Head Welch from Korn is actually pretty good. So Spoken and Head actually have some I guess like some sort of chemistry, as they do know each other, and Spoken is actually the first band to join Brian's new record label, Crossover Records, which is spelled XOVR, just to kind of give you that little acronym for it, which is something that I know Brian likes, especially with Love and Death, his other band, and besides Korn, obviously, that has the song I Wait For You. I don't know, I just assume Brian likes his acronyms, but I think it's cool that Spoken's the first band to join it, and they even had Head on the feature. I think Head's feature is a lot more, just makes the song a lot more powerful, and I think there's some great ideas. The breakdown with him in it is pretty cool as well. There's a lot of good melodies and some great choruses, but unfortunately there's not really that many that stood out to me, especially towards the second half. Like, the writing's there's some great powerful moments for sure, but as a whole I just feel like you're just kind of getting an average Spoken experience with some of the tracks. There's a bunch of great tracks though, so I think it kind of mixes it to a decent amount. I just think there's just too many songs, and I think if you trimmed the fat, this could have been an even more concrete, solid record than it actually is. But some good songs nonetheless. I like Future, I like Hourglass, especially the heavy guitars towards the end on that one. In the Dark is great, and I think it's cool that they made this one a single, I believe, with the music video. It's just a fun song, to be fair. There's a lot of good ideas, and the songs are distinguishable enough, but they're nothing chaotically crazy. They're just, good songs, and that's where I pretty much leave it there. Spoken's good, and I have enjoyed what I've listened to from them. I will say definitely this is probably their best album. I just wish there was less filler on it, but the best stuff is just by far some of their best. It's a good album, and I definitely recommend this one. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 because it's still pretty good. It's pretty darn good. It's just, I kind of think there should be a bit more, just a little bit more with the weaker tracks, that's all. But yeah, that's my opinion. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.